Welcome back, guys. It's Jason with your Hopium Free Crypto channel. You know how it goes when the market crashes, when it booms. We're here live discussing what's going on. Today is Wednesday, which means we're bringing in a whale hunting Wednesday. So my brother Michael does whale hunting on his channel. So you may never have seen his channel before. If you have, hit us in the comments and tell us how much you enjoy it or otherwise. So today we're going to look at Bitcoin, ETH, Cardano, because we've seen some good falls on them. And this is following on from last week's video that we did together. So if you're not following, make sure you are. Hit that like button. It goes a long way to helping out the channel in the YouTube algo, and the subscribe button, bell notification icon, click all, and then so you can see the videos pop up in your feed. We're also on Twitter and Instagram, so follow us over there. Got the new website launched, which you can see. There'll be links to it down below, and a free newsletter as well. So that's enough of my shilling for the morning. Let's get into it. Michael's got an appointment soon, so we're just going to crank on. Michael, here he is.
What's going on, Jez?
Good morning. I was just about to go for a surf. I walked down there. It looks beautiful, but the market's crashing, so let's do this. Good timing anyway. So following on from last week's video, we were looking at following. Yes?
Oh, I'm catching
Michael?
about every third word. Yeah.
Damn it. You take over. From last week's video, we were looking at the market, like Bitcoin, ETH.
Yeah. Yep.
You weren't getting excited at that point because, and then, you know, what we're doing now.
Yeah. It was just kind of, it looked like it was one of those transition periods. It was starting to grind up. It looked like some whales were taking profits as opposed to diving into the market ready to push it up further. And pretty much as we'll look at some charts and we can kind of review that and see exactly what's been going on.
Yeah. So yes, we know it's not a crash. Like this is not like May 19th. This is just part of YouTube. All right. So I know a lot of people put it in crash, get you all sort of fired up, but we want to really discuss what we're seeing and following on from last week's trading. So some people are saying it's not a crash, healthy correction. I tend to believe I'm in more of a healthy correction than a crash than a bull trap. But like I could see with Twitter, I just put a poll up. 1 out of 4 people think it's a trap and 3 out of 4 people think it's a correction. So there are still some people on the fence. Total market cap. Let's bring on your charts. Here we go. Add to stream. There you are. And everyone else that's joining, thank you very much. We got 500 online so far. I know it was just a short spur of the moment live stream. Hit the like button if you haven't, and tell us where you've calling in from, because it's a good time for a lot of people around the world. Netherlands, Australia, where else we got? What are we buying, boys? Michael, run us through where we were from last week to today.
Yeah, okay. So last week we were around here, and pretty much what I was looking at was it was just looking like we were getting a little bit exhausted to the upside. Whales weren't particularly diving into the market, at least as I saw it. And the major thing we were looking at was the 50% level. So it was just starting to stall out. We broke through. Last week it had stalled out at that level. And the exact thing I was looking for was a bit of a fake out and then a correction. So I was thinking this period looked like this period. And if you check the video from last week, I was saying, I think we may get something like this and a fall. And that is exactly what we've got. And I want to make the point, it's not about being right or wrong. At the end of the day, it's about P&L.
P&L? What's P&L?
P&L, profit and loss. So
all right, cool.
We can have our view in the market, but really what matters is our plan. And if we don't have a plan to act on what we're seeing in the market, it's not worth anything. It just doesn't matter. And also the moment I start thinking that I'm right, look how good I am, it inflates the ego, and then I lose all objectivity, and I won't be seeing the market for what's actually there. And it's just going to cause me to lose money at the end of the day. So yeah, just want to make the point. It's not about being right or wrong. I had this view of what I thought the market could do, and that's what it's doing now. So now it's a matter of tuning back in, or not necessarily tuning back in, seeing what's next. So there's selling in the market, and what I'm looking out for now is a change in sentiment. So when's this selling going to dry up, and then when's it going to reverse and go back up again? So
and Yes, just zoom in a little bit closer to what we got going on today, because I saw a little minor lower swing top on the daily, which we haven't really seen the whole way up.
Yeah, so for the swing guys know the trend is now down, at least in the short term. And yeah, we're still holding some lows. We're back below the 50% level. I'll just get that back up on the chart again, and I'll just leave that there. So around that 47K is that, the important level that I'm watching for. So we're now
smack on 50%. Like they're the main ones that we're always focusing on, is the 50% levels as support or resistance.
Yeah, that's right. So we've kind of had this bar here, to me, was the signal. And the reason for that is we've kind of got some acceleration to the upside. You can see how the bar is just bigger than a lot of the previous bars. And as soon as we had that bar above 50%, it just didn't follow through. So if you look back to last week's video, we looked at ADA. We got the breakout on ADA. And what I was specifically looking for confirmation is we've got this huge up bar, strong close, for this to be a genuine break. And I'll have to check the price, but it was still in like, mid-dollar. We need to see it continue straight up from this point. And that's what ADA did. And it just kept going up day after day from that point. And although this isn't a particular, a breakout trade from a major level, it broke 50%, had an increase in bar size, and it just stopped. So that was, to me, telling that a lot of retail, a lot of dumb money was jumping into the market on this bar, where we already identified that the whales were likely taking profits, just because we could see that the market was slowing down. It wasn't, didn't have as much energy as it previously had. So it doesn't mean the market's crashing, not going down to 30, 20K, whatever it is. It just means for the short-term stuff that I'm looking at, I wasn't diving into the market last week. I was expecting a bit more of a correction to come. So yeah, that's where I'm seeing Bitcoin now. And really, it's just a matter of now looking for that change in sentiment, the selling pressure to stop and then reverse and go up. And this whole game, at least for the short-term stuff I'm looking at, is who can be first to spot the change in sentiment, like from that selling to buying.
And where would we be looking for, say, a support level?
Yeah, so for support, as always, just looking at 50% levels. So we've got some levels around, 42,500.
And we'll just there's a lot of new people. Sorry to cut you off, Mick. There's possibly a lot of new people as well. I saw a couple of comments around 50%. It's more than 50% down from the top or thereabouts. The 50% that we look at is the halfway point between the low and the high of a range, because that's not our rule. That's a Gann rule, because that's where the market tends to balance out. You can see it happen time and time again. Balancing point in the market. Yeah.
Yeah. So now the market's falling. I've got my intermediate levels and I've got my major levels. So, this is a little bit more kind of in between of an intermediate and a major, this 50% level here around that mid 42 and a half. We may not get down that far. And before then, we've still got our, 44K level. We've got some support around here. I'll just zoom in. So, they're the kind of the levels I'm watching now in Bitcoin.
All right. Go zoom in a little, give us an hourly, and then let's look at Ethereum as well and Cardano. There's a few people asking about Cardano.
Yeah, check out.
Yeah. I think my internet is being a bit of a pain.
No, you're back now.
Okay.
So I had a post on Twitter where we were looking at the breakdown of the 50% level, and that happened here. And we came back to retest, and then we've just been falling since. So that's where we can clearly see at the moment the selling pressure is down. The whales, smart money is all just feeding Bitcoin into the market, looking for that sentiment shift. So looking for the market to kind of stall and then reverse and go up. So at the moment, yeah, the trend is down, and just looking for the buyers to come back into the market. We've got some volume coming in now. We'll just keep watching and see where that shift changes. I think I've kind of repeated myself enough now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're looking for the 50% on the way down as well. That's sort of that. But if it doesn't get that far to 50%, then that is a sign of a stronger market.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
So that's right. So we've got those levels, and we can just use them, or I use them for strength and weakness too. So at the moment, yeah, we're just searching for support is the way I'm looking at it now.
Yeah. So the short-term trend has changed. It's down. Buying the dip, we're looking at what's the prices that we're looking at for the next support? Sorry.
Yeah, so I'm looking at around the 42 and a half K. If we get down that far, we could get signs earlier than that. And obviously, this is short-term stuff, so I'm looking at this fairly regularly to see if anything changes in the meantime. But if we continue to fall, then I'll just be looking for support around that 44 and then around the 42 and a half.
All right.
And that is
Sweet.
a 50% level. And we've also just got some old tops as well that the market could come back and rest on.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the kind of buy the dip level, but obviously not financial advice. This is just step by step on the way down, and it's not saying buy it here. This is just what we're looking out for.
No, because everyone's got a different game, different time horizon, and this is certainly not advice or anything like that. It's just the levels that I'm looking out for in the market.
It can definitely go further. So if people aren't prepared for that, if it goes another 10, 20, 30%, you start to freak out. That's got to be part of your plan before we get there.
Yep, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, and
give us a look at Ethereum.
Their own plan. Too many times in the past, I've had a trade on something like that, and a trader better than I, been around longer, will have his opinion, and I've not followed my plan, and the trade would have went on to made money. And it wasn't his fault at the end of the day, because for all I know, he could have changed his mind after we spoke, and I don't know that. So we need to have our own plans. That's so important.
Let's look at Ethereum.
Yeah. Ethereum is breaking back down below that 50% level. As we can see that it doesn't always stop dead on 50%. So it could just hover around here. What I'd like to see for confidence that ETH is going to go up again is to get a close back above the level. So if we can get back above 50% and start to close above this level, and even if we hover out, that'd be quite a positive sign that it's making a base, and we're going to get another leg up. But
yeah, so Ethereum's in a stronger position than Bitcoin because it's was above its 50%.
Yeah, that's right. So it was holding above 50% before the correction, and now we're kind of coming back to rest on that level. So we're closing in about an hour. We'll see where it closes, and even if it closes near that level, it's not an exact science for this kind of thing that I'm looking at. So we could even just the next session hover around this level again, and we might get tomorrow's close above that level. So, if we don't, the levels I'm looking out for are on the chart there. So I've got my blue horizontal line. So I've been looking around that 28 to 2900 for Ethereum if we do continue to correct. And for me, that'd be a reasonable support level that could stop this decline in the market. And as you can see, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens if we get to that level. But Ethereum really was in a very similar position to Bitcoin in terms of pattern. It was in a stronger position into where it sat on the 50% level, but the pattern, it was starting to grind up. So I wasn't diving into Ethereum last week when we were doing the live stream, just because it was clear that there was a fair bit of profit taking going on. And an easy thing to note is just the overlap in the bars. Like, there was very little overlap through here and here, and now the bars start overlapping quite a lot, and that's just
that's a big sign. Yeah, that's a big sign. Is my internet all right at your end? Because there's a couple of people. Yeah. I'm trying to fix the internet at my end. That's why I'm not. It looks like I'm not paying attention, but we've talked about this earlier, so I'm all for it. It's what we have discussed. ETH. Let's do ETH, BTC, and also ADA, and then get onto ADA. So we're really the overall trend here is, I think we're seeing a correction rather than a crash. Is that
great
at this stage? Yep. And they're the support levels, potential by the dip levels. But obviously at the end of the day, it's got to be to everyone else's plan, because it could go further. And if you're not ready to emotionally wear that, it's probably, you got to stick to your own thing, really.
Yeah, exactly. And the market's not too far down from where we were looking at it last week. and nobody knows for sure. Like, even though I could see, I was perceiving a fair bit of whales cashing out, taking some profits. We did go up further, and nobody knows where the market's going to correct from. So we easily could have gone up to here and then corrected and still been in a better position. The reality is that didn't happen this time around. So now it's just a matter of looking where it could base. So I think we could see a good base around here, but it could stop here and base and keep going. So that's where, back to having the plan comes into play, being prepared for both situations.
Yeah. And I think from that point, the market's run up so hard, it's almost like investors might start to jump in a little bit earlier because of the fear of missing out for a second time. And looking at the correction from early August, so it was like 1 day down or so. That's probably what I'll be paying attention to see how far the market went then, and then that's it, and then how far we go this time. Is that something you're looking at as well?
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
So rating, yep.
To measure it, let's have a look at ADA. So we got some points for Bitcoin, got some points for ETH. We got ADA. Oh, you want to go down to the hourly?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just have a quick look at the hourly. Yeah. So we can see some volume coming in now. And to me, that's saying that there's been quite a few whales jumping into the market. So the guys or girls, whatever, that have been selling out on the way down, looking for that shift in momentum. It's kind of reached a level which, happens to be on 50%, surprise, surprise. And it's just started to stall out. So look at that overlap in the bars starting to take place now. Doesn't mean this is the bottom. That's definitely not what I'm saying. It's just looking for that shift in momentum. And this is just kind of explaining in real time what I'm looking out for. And if there's not enough of support coming into the market, it will just continue to fall because that's the current direction that we're in. And then I just look to the next levels.
Yeah, someone's asking, say the numbers. Ben wants numbers. We can't see your chart. The numbers are not... always say the numbers. The numbers are not there to tell you which numbers to buy at. They're just numbers as support and resistance levels on the chart that we're monitoring.
Yeah, so
I just wanted to make that clear,
like I said,
some people
28 to 2900 is the next level that I'm looking for if ETH continues to fall, for some support to come in. But yeah.
All right. Yeah, and how I would use that is, personally, I probably wouldn't buy at this stage. I want to see a support level, but that doesn't mean that we will get that level.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So just zoom into your chart so people can see it as well when you're analyzing it. But that's the prices on ETH. We went through with Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was around 42.5-ish, looking at some previous resistance. Any more on ETH before we go to ADA?
No, I mean, it's holding up pretty strong, just hovering around 50%. So this is looking like a reasonable consolidation pattern. If this just does happen to be a bit of a correction, for me, that would create a good base for another leg up to come. So it's just looking for that base now that we are in a little bit of a correction.
And this could be wave 3.
This here.
Yeah.
In Elliott terms, that's right.
Which means, for Elliott wave, it can't go any lower than the top of wave 1. Yeah.
That's right.
Otherwise, it's invalidated. Yeah, and then it goes into the wave is broken, and we start another count.
Yep. Yeah, more or less.
Yeah. So if it drops into that, then I wouldn't be rushing in because of Elliott wave theory.
No, that's right. As far as I'd really like to see it go would be, 2.5. But I'm not calling that price. But that'd be as far as I'd like to see it go to give me confidence that we are going to go straight back up.
All right. Jump on to the next, to ADA. At the bottom of the screen, are you noticing the comments are changing, or is there one comment stuck?
Daniel, his comment is stuck.
It's stuck. Yeah, I've been trying to change them, but there's something... My end. Yeah, it's my end. All right, I can't keep changing the comments. Go on. Let's have a look at ADA, because this has been the biggest mover out of the top 5.
Yeah. So ADA last week was around the 11th. Yeah, so what we were looking for last week for confirmation that this was a genuine breakout. So we had our major level, it's about $1.50, and that was from all these tops. So yeah, we first highlighted it in the newsletter around $1.40, $1.45, and then we broke through around $1.50, and we were looking for
the free newsletter. If you guys want to join the free newsletter, it's down below in the description. And once every 2 weeks, we do a full report on Bitcoin, ETH, ADA, some of the top cryptos, plus stocks and the property cycle. So even if you're not interested in anything else, it's there as a learning to understand investing holistically, to know about other areas of the market.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. So yeah, last week we're looking for a strong close, and for confirmation of this bar being a genuine break as opposed to a false break, was it for it to immediately continue after this bar. So we got that continuation, and you can see no lows were broken on the bars, and it just did continue straight up from there. So it's just a little bit about confirmation, how I look for confirmation in the market. And now we're getting a bit of a correction, and for me, like it really depends on what game everyone's playing, like I was saying before. So if this is a fundamentally strong project and buying in at a good price, this kind of stuff here, I guess, in my opinion, doesn't matter. So that comes back down to the plan and what game we're playing. Whereas if I've got my trader's hat on, I'll see massive gains, and then I might be looking to take some money off the table, because for me, I learned the hard way that I'm doing this stuff to be making money and for my lifestyle and that kind of thing. I had a good lesson, quite a few years ago now. I had a couple of trades on, and I was up about 40 grand in a 2-week period, which for me at the time, even still, that's really good money in a short period of time. But my systems didn't say sell, didn't say get out of the market. And I rigidly stuck to my systems, and eventually that 40 grand evaporated. And I thought I was doing the right thing, but I was just playing the wrong game. I was trying to be right. I was trying to be too rigid. And at the end of the day, the point of me doing this trading and all that kind of thing is to make money. So I guess the point I was making there is we need to know what game we're playing when we get into what we're buying and selling. And we've had a huge run on ADA. So depending what your game is, if it's a long-term hold, you shouldn't be looking at the market every day, in my opinion. You just kind of let it go and see the fundamentals play out. Whereas if it's a trade to make some money, then it's another story.
Yeah, you'd have both. You can have your whole bag of buying ADA at the dips, and then if you want to take some profits on your second bag, then that's where you do it, and you buy back when it gets a little bit lower. Maybe you're just measuring from the tops, say every 20% down or 30% down, whatever you've tested. That's like a buy-in point as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you want to, so right, we've gone through Bitcoin, ETH, ADA. I think if we answer a few questions, you guys want to drop some questions down and we can run through those.
Yeah. With ADA, just before, I was just saying the levels I was looking at for ADA is if it could come back to test kind of this support level here. So, we're seeing a bit of a correction now. Tell us a number. Around $1.85. And I think a good psychological level, like for ETH, we were looking for it to get back above that 50% level and close to give us, a bit of a signal that it's in a relatively strong position again. For ADA, I think $2 is kind of a psychological level. So ideally, if it doesn't get down to these support levels and then starts to creep back up and close above $2, for me, that'd be a positive sign, at least in the short to medium term. And until then, looking at about $1.85 and potentially even around $1.75 being the 50% level of this major range down.
All right. How far down could it go without breaking the uptrend?
I'd be looking for down this level at about $1.50.
All right. And that they're approximate levels. I know some people say, well, you said $1.85. It's like, no, it's an approximate level in that range. So anything below that $1.50 type area would break the wave count. So right now we're in sort of wave 3, and that would then break the count, which then would form us back into maybe consolidation, maybe some more time out in between $1.50 and $1.50. But right now, that's the support area around that $1.80, or anywhere down to $1.50 is still in a strong position. Okay, I see a few things coming through. People are going nuts about XRP. We're going to look at XRP BTC. Everyone looks at XRP USD. I think I've always said XRP USD looks like a great trading coin. Trading. I'm not talking about it investing long term. And I will stick to that because if you go big time frame on this, oh, look at that. Topped out at 50%. Huge time frame, XRP BTC trends towards zero. That's not me, that's the chart. Yeah, like you're just getting crushed against Bitcoin every time. XRP is for trading. There you go. Akko is saying that. Support levels, yeah. So this is open to anyone as well. You don't have to be an XRP lover or hater. If you want to get more Bitcoin or dollars and then buy some other stronger projects, that's another option as well. Looks like a little inverse head and shoulders in a weird way.
Oh, yeah.
There you got the shoulder, and the head, which is a bullish sign. Yeah, I think this thing will be a great trading coin coming up. What else we got? Everyone's looking at Polkadot. I think Uni looks pretty strong. Solana's obviously been a big one of the channel, and also FTT.
Yeah, they've had some good runs.
Yeah.
Still holding into all-time highs.
Massive. It's dropped back to 60 something. So as long as it keeps holding above that level.
This level being, $55.
Yeah, that's the previous all-time high.
Yeah. Did you want to do some questions, did you? I've got about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll have to run.
Yeah, questions. Drop your questions. And if you haven't already, we've got a good 1,200 people on the stream. Thank you very much for your time, your support. Yeah, drop your like, subscribe to the channel so you can comment in the live streams coming up. Instagram, Twitter, you can get Michael's YouTube channel down below. I'm just waiting for your comments to come in, guys. Alpha asks, can Mick explain how he pinpoints his entry buys, his buy entries, like your points? Just as a rough idea, because this is kind of like a whole lesson on its own.
Yeah, it kind of is a whole other lesson, but
do it. Yeah, just a quick overview because I've got some other good questions.
Yeah, I just look for like a defined trend and also breakouts. So in a nutshell, yeah. So I've got a way of defining the trend, and then I look for particular levels for it to break, and that's what I do. Yeah,
and so because it's trading on short-term timeframes, you need to be very specific with those entry prices. Whereas many of us aren't trading on leverage, whereas Michael does leverage trading on stuff like Bybit and whatnot. And so for us, we don't have to be that specific. I saw something about property prices, how's inflation and stuff. We can touch on that quickly because I know a lot of people aren't that interested in real estate, but it's important for the overall cycle because that's where all of these all these gains from Bitcoin and Ethereum and everything in crypto, it is going to flow out of here and go into a bigger market, whether we like it or not, because that's where the biggest money in the world is in real estate, in land, more importantly. We're still looking like we're in an uptrend for the market, even with inflation, which is increasing it more. Anything you want to add to that?
No, I mean, the bigger picture cycle is up. We had a little bit of a pause last year. And if you think about a chart, that's basically making a higher bottom. And it looks like the property trend has continued up. And property moves much slower than what crypto obviously does. So at least for me and the stuff that we look at, Jace, is that the trend is just getting started again, and it could last many years.
For real estate prices, generally speaking, for property, major cities around the world. I know everyone has a little different zone, but we're going to see that go crazy. Remember, if you guys were here in cryptocurrency February, March, April, and things were so ridiculous, wait till that happens in real estate, and that will be coming in the next few years. That will be ridiculous. I remember that in 2005, 2006, 2007, I was working in real estate, and it was ridiculous. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone. So we're just getting started. And if you can't think that someone's asking, will Sydney property go down? Look, it might plateau, a couple of percent, might be for the majors, but this thing isn't crashing like a Harry Dent style. It's not going to 20% down. I can't see that at all. And even if we think, well, how can we afford to pay for this? it might not even be up to us to pay for it anymore. You've got in the US big investment firms that are buying up the real estate. So regular mum and dads don't even have to buy it to push these prices up anymore. Yeah, we're looking at the 18.6 year cycle.
Yep. There'll be new innovation too. New things are coming out to help people get into the property market. We don't have it yet. We might have 50-year loans, 60-year loans, which will make it easy to get into the market. We've got crypto, blockchain, buying fragmented property. There's all these things that are going to continue this leg up, at least is the way that we've been looking at it.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. There's a few of those coming out actually in cryptocurrency. I was looking at a couple, so I'll have to get onto those, do a bit more research on them. Terra Luna, that one's been. Have you seen Terra Luna?
I haven't looked at it.
Luna
recently.
is Luna broke to new all-time highs as well. Generational loans. Yeah.
Make this the last one.
Sure.
Or do you have one more you want to finish on before I run?
No, I think let's look at Luna, and as you have a look at that, where do you look? I think this is a good one. This is a good one for everyone. When these things break out into new all-time highs, this is going to be important. Where do you start to look for profits or resistance levels because you're in price discovery?
Yeah, that's where I'd use a fair bit of Gann analysis. I'm not sure if this is I've got to run in like a minute or two, so maybe not the best time to go into it.
Just break it down. Look, I would look at fibs and just a 161 level as a potential resistance, just as some sort of guide. I know it's not going to be the be all and end all, but do you have another sort of strategy for something that breaks
fib
out?
Levels and basically, Gann analysis, looking at old tops and old bottoms and using them as a way to look forward. And this is kind of falling in a little bit to more, forecasting territory. But I think the easier, for me anyway, the easier thing to do is kind of rate what the market's doing. So we can see when the market goes parabolic by looking at a chart, the bars just go ridiculous. And this is the kind of stuff you can go back in history and look and say, when this happens, what could I have done in my plan to not lose half of my investment or whatever the case may be.
Because Axie Infinity is a good one where it just kept going up and up and up. AXS. I don't know if you've got that. That just keeps going. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you hit subscribe, bell notification icon so you can be updated with the content. And then I'm posting this on Twitter before we go live in case you want to be updated, because this was just out of the blue this morning. The market's falling. ADA, we've got our resistance levels, our support levels for buy, Bitcoin, ETH. Follow me on Twitter. Michael's details are down below. Instagram's down there, Q&As, which I'm answering. I'm getting back to you guys today as well. Free newsletter if you want to join us once every 2 weeks, cryptocurrency, stocks, and property. What else I want to mention? Special on the Investor Accelerator. Links are down below. And there's a new website out. Love it.
All right. Thank you, Jace. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to have to run. And
you got to run.
Until next time. Yep.
Done. Thank you, Mick, and appreciate it. We'll see you on next week as well.
All right. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Ciao. All right. Mick's off. That was a solid half hour. Thank you very much to Michael. He's really gets into it. Whale manipulation. Yeah, you can follow him on his channel. He goes into it in more detail because he looks at closer timeframes for his trading, of course. I've left his link down below. I'm checking your comments. I've got this comment stuck here, so I'm very sorry about that, or I bet Daniel's happy about that. James, thank you. Holy Bins asks, are we still doing our fear and greed plan? Yes. And I'm not hesitant on that. There's no fear at 15 or under. So, it's the way I like to do plans is something like really quick and simple. If you check the fear and greed and it's not at 15 or under, then you just move on and you get on with the next part of your day. Because when you're trading, things need to be quick. The hard part and all of the time comes with the research and the learning, the back testing. That's the stuff that takes a lot of time. It's like training for a race. You do a 100-meter or 200-meter. All of the time is spent training and training hard, eating right, sleeping, doing all this stuff. But then when you actually have to come to the race, it's over in 10, 20 seconds. That's it. That's the way I look at trading. All right. Sol, it just pumped again. So just as a recap, what's going on here? I can't even click anything. Bloody hell. As a recap, Bitcoin, we're looking at the support zones somewhere around 42. Now, this doesn't mean that any of these have to get there. This is just support zones that we're looking for. Around 42 because it's previous resistance, 50% levels. And yes, we're looking at it in terms of a correction and not necessarily a crash. So if you're triggered by that as a clickbait title, come on. Look, we're looking at both in the market. When the market falls, a lot of people consider a fall a crash. All right. But what we did today in the last half an hour with Michael is look at the market in terms of a correction, because that's the way we're seeing it, and then gave approximate levels in case it turns into a crash. And we're just looking at Elliott wave count on that regard, in that regard, sorry. For ETH was around 2,800 Michael was looking for, and around 25 would be the next level that we don't want to see it break based on Elliott wave. And then for ADA was around that $1.80, and then no further than about $1.50, which doesn't mean if it did break beneath $1.50 that it would, crash. It just means it will be back into an old trading range. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, bell notification icon. I've got my notes here. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, daily Q&As. You guys have done all the good stuff. Thank you very much for smashing the likes. And I think that's a good place to wrap up. I think we've answered a lot of good stuff and looked at this being my view at the moment is a correction. We've been looking at that. Check out the receipts on the channel from last week, exactly what we were looking for. And I don't have anything against it being a bull trap, but I have to take a position at this point just for my own trading. I'm not telling other people that you have to change your belief. Definitely not. But I think this looks a little more like a correction until certain points, right? So if we did start to break down beneath those levels that we just talked about, then sure, we could start to say, well, maybe that's a bull trap. Hit the likes. Thank you, guys. Rob, Nico, grazie mille. Nico, Justin, thank you. Nick. Alif, would you consider 10 ETH life-changing? 10 ETH. 10 ETH is at 30K. Well, what are you expecting? Could that go another 10x from that point? 3,000 each? Could that get to 30,000? I mean, is 300 grand life-changing for you? Could it go further? What could the ETH price be? I think I might do a video on that in the future, just go into it in a little more detail, because of course there is staking. At the moment it's around 6% for ETH. Obviously it fluctuates and comes down a little bit. So yeah, if you had $1 million in ETH and you're getting 6%, is 60 grand a year a good income for you? And I know $1 million, like how the hell are you going to get to that? I get it, but that's just how the numbers work. Greed index was over 70. Yeah. Thank you very much. It is a correction, I think, at this point in time. So appreciate everyone joining us at the short notice live stream. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you over on Instagram. Now I'm going to answer a couple of questions on Instagram, so I'll jump over there. We've got another video coming out shortly with Seb. I see a comment here. I want to look into more of the NFT space and yield farming as well. Seb knows a lot when it comes to that. All right. Catch you guys soon. Thank you very much for your support. See you at the next video. Until then, have more fun to get more done. Now, if only I could hit the end broadcast button. I don't know. Almost. Don't leave. I've done my outro. I have to leave, but none of my buttons are working. I think if I hit refresh, maybe I'll get another chance. Technology. What is going on? Shut down. It doesn't want me to go. You can hear me clicking the button. I'm going crazy. You're stuck with I'm in the inception. Why isn't this working? Someone help me. The beach, it is looking pretty good out. Well, I mean, it's cloudy, but the water looks beautiful. I need to sleep. It's 9:30 in the morning here. I'm good. I guess so.